The VapePassion Show, episode 45. Hey, welcome back to the VapePassion Show. This is episode 45, and I'm recording this on Sunday, December 4th. If you want to support this show, go to vapepassion.com/vendors and buy from one of those links. I have more than 50 popular vendors listed there, so I'll get a small commission if you buy from one of those links, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. This week I'm skipping my beer pairing just because it's Sunday night and I have to go to work tomorrow morning, so I don't want to drink a beer and mess up my sleep for the night. So no beer pairing this week. I've started getting my Black Friday orders in the mail, and the first thing that I got in the mail was the Dripbox 160, and that's with the included sub-drip RDA on top. So that's what I've been using for the past week. Now, for anyone not familiar with the Dripbox 160, it's a squonking device. And if you're not familiar with that term, squonking, you're probably laughing at such a ridiculous word. So I've known about squonking for a long time now, so it doesn't sound weird to me anymore. But when I casually mentioned it to a coworker the other day, he immediately started laughing, and I totally forgot how funny that word is. Anyway, a squonk device has an internal refillable e-juice bottle, and the atomizer fills up with e-juice. You need a special type of atomizer for this. So rather than a regular 510 pin, a bottom-fed atomizer has a hollow pin that allows e-juice to pass through. Anyway, I have to say that I'm really enjoying it, actually. The RDA works perfect so far, and it has pretty good flavor too. And it seems easy enough to build on. I actually haven't tried building on it yet, but there's nothing on here that makes it look like it would be difficult. The RDA also allows me to adjust the airflow control to get a lot of airflow, which is how I like to vape. There's also a mouth to lung option on the RDA, but I found that it's not really mouth to lung. It has way too much airflow to appeal to a mouth to lung vapor, but you can restrict it by quite a bit if that's something you like. The atomizer isn't bad, but I definitely like to get a higher quality squonking RDA at some point. If any of you have any recommendations on a really good but affordable squonk RDA, please leave me a comment or send me an email. The device itself is much nicer than I expected, actually. It feels really comfortable in my hand. It has a lot of power, and it's really easy to use, and it also looks really good. The biggest drawbacks for me are that it's heavy and it's bulky. I took it to work with me just one day last week, and it just seemed too big to carry around. I'll probably take it to work a few more times just to, get the hang of it. But right now I'm thinking this is just going to be more of an at-home device. I'm also vaping on the DigiFlavor Pharaoh. That's that Rip Tripper tank. And I only set that up today, so I haven't had hardly any time at all to use it. I can't even really talk about it much because I haven't used it enough to really say anything. All I did was take it apart, put a build in, and that's it. It seems decent though. I just need to learn a little bit more about that one. Last week I also talked a bit about pod-based vaporizers, and I mentioned that I had already purchased the MyJet during the Black Friday sales. Well, I recorded that show a day too soon, and then Sync, one of those pod-based vaporizers that I want, they actually ran a Cyber Monday sale, so I picked one of those up too. So I have one of those on the way now. So now I've officially gone over my Black Friday budget that I gave myself, but I just couldn't help it. But that's okay. I'm really excited to get it. And now I have a question for any of you experienced MechMod users. So I was using the Cartel Limited Edition 18650 MechMod clone, and I've been using this mod for a couple of weeks with no problems at all. And I was using it the other day, and after maybe the 8th pull over the course of a 30-minute period, I fired it, and the button instantly got so hot that it burnt the tip of my finger. I immediately removed the top of the mod and removed the battery. The battery wasn't hot at all. Just to give you a little info about that mod, it's a spring-loaded button, and I was running a 0.2 ohm build on it, which would pull a max of 21 amps on a fully charged battery. I'm using an LG HB4 battery, which according to Battery Mooch can handle 30 amps. So this battery should be more than capable of what I was pushing through it or pulling from it. So my question to any of you out there with more experience with mech mods is, what the hell happened? I did a little bit of research, and people are suggesting that this could happen due to the threads being dirty, or it could be micro-arcing. For micro-arcing, the fix seems to be using an anti-seize lubricating compound on the threads. But if it's not micro-arcing, what else could it be? Could it be that I just pushed too much voltage through the spring? I don't know. And if I did I ruin the spring? I've been using mech mods off and on for a couple of years now, and this is the first time that this has ever happened to me. So now it makes me scared to use this mod again. So yeah, if you have any input on that, please let me know. Okay, so now I want to talk about a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit that was against Lorillard Tobacco Company and Reynolds American. So the plaintiffs are from California, Illinois, and New York. They filed this lawsuit claiming that Lorillard and Reynolds American were deceptively advertising the health benefits of electronic cigarette products over tobacco products. This lawsuit was filed a long time ago, but now it's finally come to a conclusion. The suit, it originally sought out to require that e-cig products contain a warning label explaining the negative health effects of vaping beyond the nicotine warning that's already required. The plaintiffs claim that vapor products contained cancer-causing ingredients, such as formaldehyde. But as we know from the current research, that only happens when a device is fired at abnormally high temperatures that a vapor would never use. So the Central District Court of California threw out the case, ruling that federal law superseded state regulations. Judge Selna ruled that the passing of the FDA's rule that deems e-cigs as tobacco products also subjects electronic cigarettes to the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act, which says that tobacco products only need to have a warning about the addictive properties of nicotine, nothing else. And states aren't allowed to set more strict requirements beyond that. So this is a nice win for the vape industry. And in more great news, one of the most important vaping advocates that we have in politics, Senator Ron Johnson, has continued his support for the vape industry. So Ron Johnson sent a letter to Department of Labor Secretary Tom Perez, the Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Gina McCarthy, and the FDA Commissioner Robert Califf. And he asked them to cease implementation of their deeming rule, which Johnson claims is likely to be re-examined and unwound once the Obama administration is out of office. We don't know if these regulators will heed Johnson's request, but even if they don't, the great news here is that even after Ron Johnson's re-election to the Senate, he's still fighting for us. We now know that we have a voice in the Senate that will continue sticking up for us. And starting January 20th, when the Trump administration takes over, we are more likely to be heard. So this is really exciting news for the vape industry. Okay, so let's talk products now real quick. So last week I mentioned that Grant's Vanilla Custard was going on sale again, and that if you're interested, you should grab it quickly before it sold out. Sure enough, they sold out of it pretty quick, at least the 6 milligram option. Somewhere between the 8 hours after they opened the store, the 6 milligram option was entirely sold out in all sizes and all VGPG ratios. So I had to end up getting a 0 milligram, and I'll just add my own nicotine when I get it. So I've never tried this e-juice before, but if it's as good as it seems, based on the high demand for it, I'm really hoping to be blown away by it. So I got a 30 ml bottle for $20 total, which is a little bit pricey, but that includes shipping from overseas. So that's not too bad. The last time I checked, that was earlier this morning, 3 days after they went on sale, they still had some 0 milligram bottles available. So if you like to vape zero nicotine, or if you don't mind adding your own nicotine, go check it out. Now I want to talk about this study from the Oxford Journal. So they just recently published a study in their nicotine and tobacco research section of their website claiming that vaping could help people to lose weight. They call out the fact that obesity is one of the primary causes of diabetes, cancer, and heart disease, and it's actually on course to overtake tobacco smoking in many developed countries. We know that when smokers quit smoking, they often gain weight, and this is because the nicotine in cigarettes has an effect on our brain and metabolism that mitigates weight gain. Weight gain is one of the big reasons why many smokers actually end up smoking again after they've tried quitting. So the researchers of this study, they mentioned that although vaping is a new and controversial way of consuming nicotine, vaping has the potential to reduce risks associated with excess weight and is worth exploring. The paper also states that there are already reports of vapors mitigating weight gain after smoking by switching to vaping. So they are acknowledging that there are anecdotal stories of this happening. And they say that there are several mechanisms to why this likely works. The most obvious being the direct effects of nicotine, but also taste perception, physical mouthfeel, sensation replacement, and behavioral replacement. So yeah, it's really cool to see a positive study like that on the Oxford Journal website. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's been happening in the news lately. So VaporFi is in hot water after claiming to sponsor the A Billion Lives documentary. So on November 21st, VaporFi, a popular and well-known vape product manufacturer, sent out a press release announcing that they were sponsoring the A Billion Lives film nationwide. The idea that VaporFi had in mind for this was to resell tickets to a showing of the documentary at a 20% discount and including a free bottle of e-juice. They said that 100% of the funds would be donated to a local advocacy group I don't know what group that is, but that's what they said. Due to the wording of this announcement, many people in the vape community are upset. Vaporify is under fire for claiming that they are sponsoring the film, which is not true at all, and is actually a problem for the documentary creators because it could harm the credibility of that documentary. A Billion Lives has not accepted any funding for the production of their film from any corporate sponsors. So Vaporify released another press release on December 1st to apologize for their misleading use of the word sponsor. And they also explained what they meant by sponsoring the film, which was that they were trying to promote the film to customers in their stores. Some people are saying that Vaporify tried to use the documentary to promote their own store, and I believe that's probably true, but I also think what they attempted to do was with good intentions. They were offering discounted tickets and donating money to local advocacy groups. So that sounds like a good thing to me, and I don't mind that they're trying to bring customers into their shops, but it has got some people upset. I think it's too bad that they worded their press release the way they did, but I get the feeling that it wasn't intentional. To me, it looks more like they really didn't understand what the word sponsor means, but I don't know that for sure. All right, let's see what else is here in the news. So, this one about Philip Morris. So it was only 3 years ago when Reynolds American sent a 119-page document to the FDA requesting that they ban vape products under the guise of concern of public health risks. Fast forward to today, and Big Tobacco is singing a different tune. The vape market has grown beyond the control of Big Tobacco, which is evident from a recent statement from the CEO of Philip Morris, the makers of Marlboro cigarettes. So with the release of Philip Morris's new IQOS product, which is described as a heat, not burn vape product, the chief executive, Andrei Calantzopoulos, said that he expects a phase-out period for traditional cigarettes. He was quoted as saying to the BBC, "I believe that there will come a moment in time where we have sufficient adoption of this alternative product and sufficient awareness to start envisaging, together with governments, a phase-out period for cigarettes." So that moment in time he mentions in regards to phasing out cigarettes, it could be 100 years from now. He didn't really specify any kind of time, so who knows? Analysts are doubting his claims, especially since companies like Philip Morris are still actively promoting smoking around the world. Nonetheless, though, it's pretty clear that big tobacco companies can see that vaping will eventually take over the majority of their market. I hope I live long enough to see the day when vaping has surpassed smoking. All right, this week I'm going to do a little bit of DIY. So for any of you listening on the podcast version, I'm going to do some heavy editing so you don't have to sit through all of that. But I'll give you some ideas of how it's going, and then I'll do a taste test at the end. So this is barbecue sauce. This is from user C. Winthrop on Reddit, and he doesn't do recipes anymore, but he was one of the best recipe makers, DIY e-juice makers on Reddit. And I've been wanting to try this e-juice for a while. So it has brown sugar, hickory smoke, and ripe tomato. So let's go ahead and put that together, and then we'll try it out. Okay, so I have my bottle of 25 milligram nicotine, 100% VG. I have ripe tomato from Flavor Art. I have hickory smoke, and I have brown sugar. And just a warning about this brown sugar flavor from the Flavor Apprentice. It does have acetone and acetylpropanil, so if you're not comfortable vaping those flavors, don't make this e-juice. And I've already got a bottle cleaned out, just an old Vape Wild bottle, Smurf cake. All right, let's turn on the scale. So this is just a 10 ml bottle, so I need 0.5 grams of brown sugar. Wow, that smells sweet. It smells like alcohol, kind of. Okay, 0.5 grams. Oh, need to tear that out. 1 gram of hickory smoke. Ooh, that's an interesting smell. That definitely smells like barbecue sauce. And then we need 0.3 grams of ripe tomato. That's an interesting smell. It doesn't really smell like tomato. It kind of reminds me of like tomato sauce or pasta sauce. And then 3 grams of nicotine, because I'm using 25 milligram nicotine here. All right, then I need 1.25 grams of PG. There we go, that'll do. And the rest is VG, which would be 5.8. Perfect. And that's it. Shake it up and vape it. All right, we're back, and here's the finished product. It's a darker colored e-juice, and it smells good. I don't know if it's supposed to be a shake and vape, but that's what I'm going to do. It smells like it's ready to use. I suppose that doesn't mean much, but we'll throw it on an atomizer and see what it tastes like. It really smells like barbecue sauce or some kind of, that hickory smoke is such a strong flavor. All right, so I'm going to use it on the iStick 100 watt TC and the Mutation X V3. I got some brand new cotton in there. Ooh, that smells strong. Smells like hickory smoke. Oh man. Yeah, that really smells like barbecue sauce. All right, let's see. 0.5 ohm coil, 59 watts. Yeah, that tastes like barbecue sauce. It's sweeter than it smells though. It tastes like a sweet barbecue sauce. That is, it's pretty good actually. It's strange, but it's good. Not something I'd imagine I'd vape very often. I could see myself vaping that when I'm eating some chicken. All right, let's get on to the next topic. All right, now here's a tip for the DIYers out there. So on one of Fresh03's recent shows, if you don't know who Fresh03 is, look him up on YouTube. He's one of the best DIYers out there, and he does live shows all the time. He's always on live shows, and he does his own live shows. Anyway, on his own show, one of his guests, Jack Vapes, asked if Fresh knows of a way to create a good black cherry e-juice. Another guest on the show, Gizzard Stew, he busted out laughing at this question because I guess there isn't an easy way to do it, but I'm assuming that it's probably very similar to regular cherry. It just doesn't taste right. I've never actually done it myself, so I don't know for sure, but regular cherry, it usually tastes like cough drops. I don't know what black cherry concentrates taste like, but of course Fresh had an answer to the problem. He recommended a flavor called Lotus Flower. I believe he said Lotus Flower Black Cherry. He said it cost somewhere around $10 to $15 for a 5 ml bottle, which is pretty expensive, but if you absolutely need to have a black cherry flavor, that it might be worth it. I tried to find it online, and the only thing I could find was this link on ecigexpress.com for Lotus Flavors Black Cherry. Oh, I also found another link on a website called medicineflower.com. It was also Cherry Black is what they called it. They look like the same things to me. I'm not positive. If you are looking for a black cherry, take a look at one of those two things. From what I've been hearing about this, you use it at a 0.5%, and anything you put it in will taste like black cherry. So sounds like it's pretty good. All right, and then one last thing I want to give you. So you know that mannequin challenge that everyone is doing right now? Well, Saints Vapor put together one of the best ones I've seen yet. They used cotton to mimic the look of exhaling vapor, and they used a hot glue gun to mimic the look of e-juice dripping off of the bottle. It's really clever and looks amazing. I can't play the whole thing because they're using copyright music that I don't have permission to use, but check the links in the show notes to watch it. They really did an amazing job. Okay, that's all I have for this week. You'll find the show notes for this episode on VapePassion.com. Just search for episode 45. If you want to support the show, consider donating to my Patreon page at patreon.com/VapePassion. You can follow me on Twitter at VapePassion.com. I'm also on Facebook if you want to leave me a comment. If you like this weekly show, please consider giving me a thumbs up on the video and becoming a subscriber if you aren't already. You can also subscribe to the podcast version of the show on either iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. If you'd like to get notifications of new reviews or of the show, you can sign up to my weekly newsletter at VapePassion.com. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me anytime at alex@VapePassion.com. All right, I'll see you next week.